Well, hello everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Great to be with you today on this beautiful Thursday as we jump back into our lesson, moving from dark to light. We're taking this out of James. And he says, count it a joy when we fall into diverse temptations or when we have trials and testings in this life. I want us to look at that a little bit deeper today. That seems a little difficult to process, to be honest with you, because when we're going through a difficult time, joy is typically not identified with that. It's usually not coupled with that. But I want us to go back and break this down just a little bit as we put this lesson together today. After today, I won't be back with you probably until Monday. Several things that have to be done over the weekend, and of course, it's a long weekend for some people. Memorial Day, we're grateful for that. We will be certainly remembering those. They gave all, and we just remember and honor their memory with that. What does James say? Let's go back. Of course, as oftentimes what we do here at Making It Simple, we take a passage or several passages, and we really spend some time with them. Not to be long, draggy, boring, whatever the case, but say, well, why is it said that way? But more importantly, what does it mean? What does the words mean? And it is oftentimes when we take time to look at the actual word that is there, then it starts to make sense. That's why we do Making It Simple. You see, my total intent with this, as I started it a couple of years ago, was to take this message of the gospel, the clarity, the beauty, the simplicity of the gospel, and make it available, make it understandable, and simplistic for everyone. It is my goal that what I teach, anybody can understand, believer and non-believer alike, young, old, and everything in between. And that is my joy. That is my heart, that we can look at this together, no matter where you are in your spiritual life, saved, unsaved, lost, or on fire, for the Lord. I want us to say, wait a minute, that really makes sense. I never thought about it that way. Not because Pastor Andy said so, but because that's what the message here says. Verse 2 in James chapter 1, it says, my brethren. What is he speaking of here when he says that? He's speaking to, at this point, he is speaking to fellow believers. He's speaking to those who will listen. He says, count it all joy when. That's not if. That's not maybe. That says this is coming. When you fall into diverse temptations. Now, this has much more to do with testing and trials versus temptation. Like, oh, I've been tempted to, for that extra piece of pie, or I've been tempted to look at something, or I've been tempted. Those are moments that comes about, but this is much more about trials and difficulties that come about in our life. I love music. As many of you know me personally, you know that I have a special affection for the older songs and messages of those. I sing those quite often in services. In fact, sang some last night. In fact, this very song that I'm going to reference right now, Through It All, the last verse of that song, Andre Crouch says, I thank God for the mountains, but I also thank Him for the valleys. I thank Him for the storms He's brought me through. For if I'd never had a problem, I wouldn't know He could solve them. I'd never know what faith in God could do. Count it a joy. When James gives us that, we think, wait a minute, when I'm having a hard time, joy? Really? I mean, that's not a word that I tend to associate with difficulty. But I want you to understand it this way. That's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about joy as in exuberance, such as, oh boy, man, I am so excited. I just found out I got cancer. Man, I can't wait for chemo. Of course, nobody says that. That's stupid. That's silly. But the right attitude, think of it this way. The right attitude in the midst of the trial can make all the difference in the world. How is that, Pastor? How does my attitude relate to my trial? Here's the principle. What you believe determines how you respond. Maybe you're a note taker. Maybe you want to write that down. What you believe determines how you respond. If we believe in nothing, if we say there is nothing more, there is no God, there is no hope, there is no better, if we don't believe in anything, then we project nothing. We believe nothing, we project nothing. In a case such as this, then nothing is seen other than hopelessness, careless, bitter, anger, discouraged, mean, withdrawn. And that list could just go on and on and on. When we say that we don't believe in anything, we have nothing to hold on to. The fact that trials come, that's reality. We don't have to like it, but that's real. From the time that we're younger, the difficulties of growing, whether it's literal physical growing pains, whether it's the emotions of understanding life as we unveil that, whether it's getting discouraged, disappointed, getting your feelings hurt, getting your heart broken, or if we get older, we have health struggles and we have financial struggles. Life is real. Doesn't mean we always like it, but our attitude in the midst of it, it's completely related to how we respond. It all comes together in this. The fact that trials come is a reality. All of us know that, and nobody is exempt. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says this: "There is no temptation, no trial, taken you. Nothing has come to you, but such as is common to man." Nobody's exempt. You're not being picked on. But it says this: God is faithful. In other words, you're not alone. And we can find joy in that. Even in the midst of this trial, in the midst of this struggle, this difficulty, we can find joy that we are not alone. That's very, very clear here. And he says, God will not suffer you to be tempted, to be tried above that which you are able, but will with the temptation make a way to escape, that you might be able to bear it. Friends, we've got a promise. We've got a promise that when it comes to these moments, he's saying, I'll be there. I didn't tell you it wasn't coming. I didn't tell you it wasn't going to be hard. But you're not going to have to do it alone. Our attitude reflects whether we believe that or not. James says here, count it all joy when. That word is very important. When. Not if. When. That's an affirmation that it's going to come. But we can find comfort. We can find comfort in the knowledge he's promised to be there with us when it does. It's for our growth. It's for our strength. It's for our relationship. Hear me, friends. This is not always about punishment. This is not always about correction as much as it is an exercise of our faith muscles. If they're never exercised, they're never going to grow. Doesn't that make sense? If everything is a 4-lane superhighway with smooth, brand new asphalt, and there's never a pothole, there's never a glitch, there's never a blemish, we'd never know anything was wrong. We'd never know that something might be around the corner that we weren't prepared for. When we're building our spiritual muscles, we're building our strength and our relationship with the Lord, which means that we're building a deeper level of trust. That if I have a problem, when I have a problem, I know that he's there. I may not understand it in that moment. I may still struggle with the emotions and the reality and all the other stuff that's happening in that moment, but I'm not alone. Understanding that, grasping that, holding on to that is vital if we're going to move to the next level. when the disciples were on the boat, in the illustration where Jesus says, get on the boat and go across the sea, let us go unto the other side, is what the passage says. In the middle of the storm, as they're crossing the sea, in the middle of the storm, the boat is taking on water, and they began to panic. Now, mind you, they had just left the shore where Jesus had performed an incredible supernatural miracle. That should have been fresh on their mind. However, when the storm was personal in their life, this wasn't reflective of anyone else. This is happening to me. This is not about my neighbor. This is not about my anybody. This is about me. They began to be panicked. They began to worry. They were overwhelmed, and they said, "Don't you care that we're going to die?" And they had just all. And Jesus asked them one question. He said, "Where is your faith?" In other words, I'm right here. I ain't going anywhere. I'm right here with you. Why are you not trusting me? I want to leave it right there. You're on the boat. You're in the middle of the sea. The storm is raging. But Jesus is asleep in the bow of the boat. Don't forget that. He didn't leave. He didn't go anywhere. He didn't tell you that storm wasn't coming. But he always said, I'll be there with you when it does. James says, count it a joy. Count it a joy in these moments. Not for the moment, in the moment. There's a big, big difference because God is showing us something. He's helping us grow so that we get stronger, so that we are better representatives of Him, so that we can help each other. That's why we're doing this, friends, so we can grow this family together, so that we can grow this not just this opportunity for me to minister to you, but that we can grow together spiritually. While we may not ever meet each other on this earth, I want to spend eternity with each and every one of you. God bless you. Have a great weekend. I'll be back with you, Lord willing, on Monday. If not Monday, for sure by Tuesday. Have a great, great weekend. Enjoy your friends, your family. And if you see somebody without a smile, give them yours. Count it a joy. You say, how is that possible, Pastor? When you come to know Jesus, you'll find out. God bless you. Have a good rest of the day.